Welcome back to the world famous Jiggy Jaguar radio program, coast to coast and border to border on TuneIn, iTunes, Radio Loyalty, and Stitcher. And also 50 plus AM FM stations across the country, around the world, and iHeartRadio. We've got a great guest joining us today here on Skype. And go ahead and give us a brief introduction on yourself, my friend. Tell us all about it.
Well, my name is David Moore, and I am a blues rock guitar player based in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, exactly in South Salito. And I've been here in the U.S. for almost 30 years. I came when I was 10 years old, straight to Hollywood, California. And stayed in Hollywood for a couple years. Back on the days where guitar music was very, very well paid. I couldn't complain about that. And then around 1992, after the whole Nirvana thing and grunge movement came up, I decided to move to North. So I went to Sacramento for a couple of years. And I met a lot of nice people, a lot of good musicians. I played with Arvez Williams there, with Johnny Guitar Nash, Johnny Hertzman, Mick Martin, but I didn't like Sacramento at all, man. So I decided to move to San Francisco, and I love it here.
We've got a great guest with us today here on our big broadcast, coast to coast and border to border. Tell us a little bit about your music background. How did you get interested in the music business?
Well, I started when I was very, very young, man, because I have an uncle. He was from England, and he was into all this old jazz. I don't know how he managed to get these records from the 40s, okay? And I got introduced to Jerry James and things like that. And then by the age of 8, my godfather brought me a guitar, an acoustic guitar, a Spanish guitar actually. And I went to the National Conservatory of Music in Buenos Aires. I have a very strict teacher there, and according to the guy, I was never going to learn how to play guitar because I was into blues and rock, and he wanted me to learn classical music. So I dropped it, and I got into Johnny Winter. Then I moved to Hollywood, and I got more into the hard stuff, what it was going on in Hollywood at that time, like a Deep Purple. I got very sick with Richie Blackmore. Basically, at the age of 12 years old, all what I was doing is try to learn those tunes from Machine Head, Made in Japan, and all those records note by note, and I continue playing Johnny Winter and Son of the Texas, blues rock like ZZ Top, and then I escalate to other guitar players. Like another guy that got me really sick was Gary Moore. The first time I hear Gary Moore, I go, wow. It's just because I can't relate to the way these people pick the guitar. I cannot play soft. Even if I can, if you hear my picking in the guitar unplugged, man, it's brutal. I don't know if you can hear it from there, but so having this background with Richie Blackmore and Gary Moore and Winter, suddenly somebody came and showed me a record of Stevie Ray, and it was funny because I never heard Stevie Ray before until that point, and people were telling me, "Oh, you sound like this guy Stevie Ray Vaughan," and when I hear Stevie, I go, "Oh wow, yeah." That's right, because it's a clean strat tone, okay? But the guy picks really hard, just like me, and I really got into that, man. And then a lot of classical stuff. I love Paganini, and I love Bach, and I love a lot of things, okay? And I like some of the modern blues too. I love Joe Bonamassa, for example. And a lot of people criticize Joe Bonamassa because it's not blues, but though they say it's not blues, to me, he can play both. I hear Bonamassa playing blues, and he's very good at it.
We've got a great guest with us today joining us here on Skype, talking a little bit about his music, talking about his musical background. Now, you're out there in the area that you are. Tell us about some of the great musicians you're working with.
Well, currently now I'm working. I did an album. I just finished my second album. Okay, my second album that it should be called. It was gonna be called Under the Influence, but then we realized that the title it wasn't that good, and then Keith Richard came up with this record called exactly the same name, Under the Influence. So we changed it. We changed the name to Passion, Soul, and Fire. But in reality, I wanted to play music from all these guys that they influenced me in the past. So I did a cover tune from Deep Purple called Mistreated, and then of course there's a lot of blues stuff there too. And I hired a young man called Dick Da Silva, because they play both styles. He can play blues very well, and he can play rock pretty well too. And this is very hard to find musicians that are good playing both things at the same time, and they can mix it up. Blues players normally don't like rock, and rock players are not good playing blues. And so there's a few guys that they can do that. And then I use Wade Olson on drums. But here in the Bay Area, I have played with a lot of people like Tommy Castro and Johnny Nitro. Johnny Nitro was like a godfather to me in the Bay Area, because I was back on 2004. It's a place in the heart of San Francisco called The Saloon. It's the oldest venue in the city of San Francisco, the oldest blues venue. And I used to play 2 gigs a week there for a year, okay? So that is like 8 gigs a month. You count it, man. It's like 80 something gigs a year just on that place, okay? And Johnny was a straight blues guy. I had to play straight to the amp, no effects, nothing. So I learned a lot about the old blues, man, and how to play straight to the amp and the tone on the amplifiers. Okay, he showed me a lot of things about the amplifiers, and so I have a lot to thanks to him. He passed away 3 years ago, and I owe him a lot. And then I have been playing with pretty much a lot of musicians here in the Bay Area. J.C. Smith, Steve Freund. I did a show once before with Daniel Castro too at the Grandel Saloon. But I've been on my own for like 10 years. That's what I want to do now. You know, I want to have my own trio. So I'm looking forward to see what happened with this new record. We went to a music studio called Prairie Sun. I don't know. Are you familiar with Shrapnel Records?
Yes, yes, we are. Tell us a little bit about your work there, or who you're working with from there.
Well, the owner is Muka, the owner of the studio, and he's a guy that owns a board from 1972, and the board was from Pete Townsend, the guitar player from The Who, okay? And The Who used that board to do the album Quadrophenia, and a lot of other people has used the board, like Chris Duarte, Eric Gales, Joey Huey, and a lot of shredders and guitar players that I really respect and love, okay? So we thought, okay, these people had the vintage gear. That's where I want to go, because they do it on we lay tracks on 2-inch tape, the way it was back on the 70s, man. Okay, and so we went there. We used the same board from 1972. We came up with our first record, that is From the Other Side of the River, and so now we went back there, and we did a record that I think is way better than the first one, okay? The composition is better, the sound is better, and the amps. I don't know if you're looking at where I'm sitting now, but I have a collection of amplifiers, man. And on this record, I used the best I could find, and I got really picky with my tone. So I've been using some I don't know if you can see the amp in the back. I was practicing a little bit on that amp now. There are only 50 of those amps in the world. I have one.
Wow.
Okay.
Amazing.
Yeah, I have one, and that one, the one at the bottom, the tallest one is I inherited that from Johnny Nitro. It's a vintage Vibro King, and I have 1968 Super Reverse, 72 Super Reverse, and I mixed that up with I don't know if you can see, it's a Marshall right there, a Marshall, the JVM that I can. I do it backwards than everybody else, man, because I get the clean tones from the Marshall. So. I mix 3 or 4 different amps during the record, and we use actually an amp that we got from Eddie Gills, one of those 2 rocks, and so yeah, we worked for a whole year, man. We wanted to do the best we can for our fans, and the same with the shows. We don't cheat at all, man. We sweat every note, and we try to do the best show we can. The show is very energetic and very passionate, man.
Well, you've got a good lineup here. Tell us about some of your future musical projects.
Well, this is sometimes it's a part that is we have a cycle of I mean we tour, we've been touring pretty much the same places. Like once a year we go to South America, and it's a totally different market there because people don't care too much about dancing. They just sit and they watch you play there, and the shows are pretty short, okay, but they pay pretty well, and we don't have to carry our gear. We have people that they move our gear around when we go there, so that's nice too. Okay, so we do that once a year, and this year we would like to change that and go to Europe, and then we of course we are booked here in the Bay Area every weekend. We play around the Bay Area all the way from the border of California, north border of California, Mendocino, all going all the way to Monterrey. Okay, every single venue you can imagine. So November the 1st, we're going to release our new CD that is called Passion, Blood, and Fire. It's gonna be on sale on CD Baby, and you can find me on Facebook at David Moore, and the name is spelled with an apostrophe after the M, like More. Okay. M''ORE, David Moore Band, and then you can get all the information about the CD release. But basically, to make a long story short, what we're planning to do is release the album and tour as much as I can to support the album. Okay.
Well, tell us a little bit about the tour that you've got planned.
Well, the tour that we do to South America starts in Ecuador, and we go to Brazil, and we end up in Buenos Aires. Okay, where we already have a crowd of fans there. The producer lives there, and we play. My favorite shows there, because there are a lot of shows, man. They're all different, but my favorite shows there is Barterix Radio. That is the biggest radio in the whole South American continent. Okay, Slash plays there, the Guns N' Roses, the biggest rock bands, they go and they play on that radio station, and the same that the blues artists as well. Okay, like before he died, B.B. King played there. So it's an honor for me to have the chance to play on a place like that. Okay, they have their own venue inside the radio station, and there are other shows that are always nice, TV shows, of course. Okay, because look in one show that I do on TV, I reach the same amount of fans than playing live a whole year. So you can imagine that we love to play on TV. Okay, it's different. You wake up the next day on Buenos Aires downtown, you open the door of your hotel, and everybody knows who you are because they saw you the night before on national TV. So, and we only play 3 songs, so it's very nice, man. It's not that much work. Our shows here are very long. We play 4 hours here, okay? that I love, because I love to play. I love to play, man. You know, it's uh, and then we talking about the possibility to go to Russia with but it's nothing confirmed yet. Okay, we have the agent, we have the contact, and we've been negotiating with this gentleman. And but if you can imagine, the logistics of moving a whole band with the gear is very expensive now, James.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Now, before we let you go, how do we connect with you online, my friend?
Okay, the best is two ways to do it. It's just David Moore, like a more beautiful, more blessing, more money. David Moore on Facebook, that's my personal page. And then it's a band called David Moore Band, okay, on Facebook. My website is um, davidmoore.net. And it's a feature on the front page called "Join the List." And if people email me there, I can put it on my list so they can get news from the band. I think the best way is on Facebook, man. Today is fun. Even if you have a website, Facebook seems to be more efficient than everything else. You know.
Well, good stuff, my friend. I appreciate you making time for us. Thanks for joining us today on Skype. Appreciate it.
I thank you, Jane. It's an honor for me to be in your show. I thank you so very, very much for supporting blues rock music, man. And and I send you the best energy in the planet, brother. With all my love.
Well, thank you, man. Have yourself a wonderful day. Appreciate it, Dave. Appreciate it, man. We're
Okay.
gonna take a time out here. When we come back, we've got